Welcome back to Oncoming Voices. It's now time for a new interview, and this is one I hold dearly to my heart, as I'm with a guest that has a professional path that is basically one I dream of. I'm joined now by Frank Leenders, Director General and Delegate of the Board for FIBA Media. And FIBA is the International Basketball Federation, for those who don't know, and also topic leader for sport within the Bocconi Alumni Community. So Frank, first and foremost, thank you for joining me here.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored, and I'm very pleased to be here coming home.
Home is really like a recurring theme of those 3 days, of course, for Oncoming. I've been really looking forward to this conversation also because of your career and a professional path that I could summarize into a sentence, also thinking back of interview, a profile I've read about you, making your passion an everyday job. First and foremost, if someone should ask you to summarize, to tell your story in a sentence, which sentence would you say and why?
Well, a sentence is always challenging, no, for people like me who like to talk, to put it in one sentence. But I think it is, I would say, sliding doors, because there's a lot of, moments that determine where you end up in this case, and also sliding doors from the north of the Netherlands to the south of northern Italy, but to be here. And over the years through Switzerland, I moved more and more to Italy, and I love to come back. So it's a sports-related career, but with a strong imprint of moving internationally and as always, influenced by certain moments.
You've mentioned your journey. Your relationship with Bocconi started in the 90s with the MBA and is continuing today, as I mentioned before, as being topic leader for sports within the alumni. How has Bocconi shaped your professional path and what impact is still having today?
Yeah, Bocconi was a very interesting moment also in my life and which continues today. I mean, as I say, I'm a Dutchman. I studied, let's say, university undergraduate in St. Gallen in Switzerland. Yes. That's also the way I got into sports, because that was, centered. A lot of the sports industry is in Switzerland. And I had the opportunity to move into, through a company called ISL Marketing, which was basically one of the founding blocks of sports marketing, Dassler family, Adidas, from their Champions League. So, and then at some point in time, I decided, which as you can imagine is not so easy when you're in a career, to say, let's do an MBA program. Yeah. And then, through, choice, selection, ended up in Milano. Mm-hmm. And that was, looking back, a great choice. When we were in the program, sometimes we were, less convinced, not because of the program, because we said, why did we do that? What are we doing? Yeah. In the difficult moments. But you asked about shaping, and I must say the relationships that I've taken out of that period are still very close today. I mean, not so much as a business relationships, but a lot of friendships. Okay. That's why I also think the Bocconi, the community, the alumni community is a great example. But with our MBA class, we still have a very close contact. Okay. Every 2 years we have a weekend somewhere. So we have been, in London and Barcelona and Istanbul, Santorini, Salzburg, whatever. And next year we have Oslo. And on the chat I saw we're already more than 60 people that will come for a weekend. Okay. Because it's now an appointment. And so it's a community that is there. And in any case, in our international class of the master, when it was still international, and the alumni community here in Milan, I have to say, was for me a real discovery. Around 2019, when I, as it goes through the context also in my sports world. Yes. and with Professor Ruta. And then he said, well, there's the community, and you know, then I got involved, and I discovered this whole new world of the alumni community.
You mentioned that you've worked on the launch on the Modern Champions League in the 90s, and also, fun fact, you worked at this launch for a company that is called Team Marketing. Yeah. And since then, but basically all your life, you worked in team sports.
Yeah.
And drawing from this anecdote, this correlation, what do you think there are the key ingredients for team sports which you can develop while studying at a university like Bocconi?
Cool. Yeah, no, it's interesting because the company that I can say invented the Champions League on behalf of UEFA, because at that time UEFA was a smaller organization, yes. And the founders of Team had that vision and created it. They called the company Team with a purpose, and I think they chose Team. If you ask me, and afterwards said, what does it stand for? The event agency and marketing is more like post-rationalizing what team should be. Together, everybody achieves more. You have these kind of things, but that meant it was to work in a team, and we worked with team sports in football. And when I think back of Bocconi and our MBA program, I actually have to smile when I walk around here when you see people work in the famous piccoli gruppi, which I must say were, a real learning process, a learning laboratory for all of us, because it was, a very diverse group, different nationalities, different cultures, different ages, different backgrounds, engineers, and then you put them in these piccoli gruppi, and I can tell you that was not always easy because I can imagine. As you know, there's always the different people in your group. So you always say, "Oh, who's in my group? Oh, do I have him or her?" And you learn that you need to come to a common result.
Yes.
With a very diverse group of people, and you have a certain way of working. I have another one, and it was learning the hard way.
Yeah.
In an international team, how to come to that result with a lot of other pressures around you.
Yeah.
And but I think if you work in a company, you have this challenge on a day-to-day basis. So it's better to.
There are skills that you develop time by time, and it goes without saying. Yeah,
absolutely.
Being myself also a professional in sports, as a key part of my career, I've always been fascinated by athletes that take some time away from their athletic life, also because the athletic life has a short age expectancy, of course, by studying in subjects like management, economics, but not only, working their way through degrees, masters. Which are the challenges for athletes, do you think, in such paths? Also because we are living in an age where there is a lot of emphasis, especially in a place like Bocconi, on the student-athlete perspective, on the idea that you should also look at these opportunities.
Well, honestly speaking, I see always, a lot of benefits from being an athlete or working with an athlete in organizations, and that's you see a lot of companies that are, also actively looking for people that are active in sports. Team sports we talked about, but also individuals are high performance athletes. They have an edge. They are motivated, self-disciplined. They are ambitious. I'm now generalizing. Everybody is different, but I think that is that's a lot what you can bring to life. Of course, the challenge for a lot of athletes is specifically in a certain age is how to balance the focus on your athletic career with staying on track with your education. But I think athletes have an edge, generally speaking. I like a lot that Bocconi takes a big interest in the sport. I mean, the sports center here is an example of this. It's beautiful. I just walked through it again. I mean, I think it's impressive. It's very impressive. It's also setting a signal. The fact that Bocconi has a dedicated sports knowledge center with Professor Ruta gives an idea that sport is an industry.
Yes,
that is important. And actually, as a matter of fact, you talk about career transition. I mean, you're an athlete. You know that there's a lot of pathways for athletes. There's athlete scholarships in different courses.
Yeah.
But there's also the one-on-one coaching program.
Yes.
Javier Zanetti that has been here. Luis Scola is a student. Damian Rudes is so. And we bring a lot of sports industry leaders to campus. So I think there's a lot of positive synergies. Of course, what cannot be, and you'll understand this, is that just because you have been a high performance athlete,
you should expect
that you should enter any company as a CEO.
Yeah,
I mean, you need to have the basic skills. Otherwise, whatever you have performed on the court or on the pitch doesn't mean that you need to.
It doesn't translate at the same time.
No, it's actually when I one of the first I met Javier Zanetti, of course, a great aura, all the students around him, and he said, when I came off the pitch out of San Siro, 80,000 people, I need to realize I need to start from scratch.
Yeah,
I need to be humble, and I think he's a great example of somebody who
started 10 years ago with a master's.
Who understood, I want to learn the basics.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. You have defined sports in the past as a dynamic word that has the ability to inspire. As part of my master thesis, I've expanded what was London 2012 motto of inspiring a generation. And actually, in general, how major sports events have this ability to inspire, generate feelings, emotions, motivate. First and foremost, do you agree on the assessment? And also, what do you think are the challenges for major sports events in this sense?
The challenges, maybe let's first get them out of the way. Yeah. I think the challenges these days are quite big because there's a lot of scrutiny from society on what do we invest and what is the long-term benefit of these investments. I think the Olympic agenda 2020 plus 5 to not build just whole new infrastructure, but to make sure that there is a sustainable event. In that case, for instance, makes a lot of sense. So the pressure on these events, safety and security, you name it. Having said that, I must say that you referenced London 2012. I mean, you feel it. Actually, London 2012 Paralympics maybe as much as Olympics. Also, the way they take this up is amazing. I think still also in our industry, you still see a lot of people who come out of events. Yes. I mean, there's still a community of Torino 2006 Olympics
still
that are
around.
In our industry.
Yeah.
So London 2012 and so on. And I believe, I mean, we talked a little bit before we started. Milano Cortina is around the corner. I think the city starts to feel it, but I am convinced in early next year, Milano, there will be a vibe.
Yeah,
and this will inspire. I'm telling also friends here, have you bought your tickets? Go to figure skating, ice hockey, this kind of thing. Not maybe you don't go to normally, but you feel the magic and. Now we talk about Olympics, but you have other sports event, football event, tennis events. I do believe that if you take, the success of tennis.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Italy hosts
Davis
Davis
Cup.
Cup, the Rome Open,
finals.
the ATP finals, that together with the inspiration from the players,
Yeah.
drives people to pick up a racket and go to the local circolo tennis. So I think the inspiration, the gold dust is
from the top to the bottom, and then
you need both.
Yes.
You need the inspiration from the top and the aspiration from the kids on the street.
This is something that can be linked to the concept of dream, and I wanted to close this conversation by speaking about dreams. One could say that you have been working dream jobs, and I agree, basically. But
sure.
What is a dream for you, and are yours really dream jobs?
Yes and no. I mean, obviously, I didn't move into the world of sports and the world of sport. I'm more in the sports business world,
Yes.
Sports media. I didn't move into, and I'm not there still today, and still passionate and interested because I think it's a great, dynamic, moving industry with a lot of opportunities to make an impact. But it's also not a dream job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clear when I go to a birthday party and they ask me, what do you do? They will look, there's more questions to me than the person who is the auditor or somebody who's selling toothpaste. But believe it, it's not that everything is
all gold dust.
No, it's not that every morning you jump out of bed and think, what a great day. There are difficult moments, challenges to overcome, like in any other environment, and like in any corporate industry. There are the challenges dealing with the clients, the colleagues, the day-to-day things, because at the end of the day, it's about delivering your results.
Yeah, makes sense. Several layers, not all good, or not all directly that you feel that they are all surface, all golden surface, but there are something underneath. So yeah.
There is the hard work, the difficult moments, like everybody else. But I say again, then personally, I like to work in an environment where you see, the emotion of the sport as well, and that's on the business side. Sometimes it's also difficult. You can the business deal sometimes can make or break with a result on the court, on the pitch. That you would prefer to see the other way around, but where there are winners, there are losers.
I agree. Well, thank you, Frank, for joining us, and thank you for this really deep, full insight and deep conversation. Grazie per averci seguito. La programmazione di Bocconi Voices ritorna dopo una pausa, quando ospiteremo un momento speciale, ovvero una reunion tra 4 amici della leva dell'85. Restate con noi.